Hello, 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 everyone. I am super excited. Thank you once again for tuning in to the Empowerment Circle web show. Okay, wow. Tonight is going to be power. And I say that all the time, and I mean it every time, but I'm extremely excited about tonight on several levels. One is that this topic is something that is very needed, and not only is it going to be uplifting and inspiring, but it is also going to be extremely informative. You are going to get so much information. So please have your pen and paper ready. Our special guest, we talked about this topic, and the topic is thriving and not just surviving in corporate America. Some people may call corporate America like the jungle, surviving in the jungle. And you know what it can be? And I think about when I first graduated from college and I got this job at this big company. And I go there and I'm in this meeting and no one looks like me and I'm new and I'm scared. I'm a little bit uncomfortable. But how can I thrive in that? What knowledge, what tools, what empowerment do I need to succeed? So we're going to talk about that and so much more. But it's basically being empowered, feeling empowered, and showing your empowerment in the workplace. Thriving and not just surviving. All right, so you guys, are you ready? I'm so excited to bring in my special guest, and she is going to share with you her tips, her tricks, her journey of how she went from good to great, and how she is one of the top individuals in our company in her field. So without any further ado, let's welcome our guest, Miss Dominique Bolden. Welcome, 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 my sister friend.
Hey,
how are you this evening? How are you this evening?
I am really good, Ro. How are you?
Oh my God, amazing, 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 amazing. And thank you. Okay, so first and foremost, please introduce yourself.
So, hey, everybody. And really, I'm so glad to see I'm seeing some people posting in the chat. We've got our fellow Kraft Heinz people here. So, Dominique Bolden, and I am currently the senior analyst with the Kraft Heinz company. And my responsibilities are to train our call centers, which are currently located in Hyderabad, India. Yes, India, and El Paso, Texas, on all Kraft Heinz products, all of our promotions, all of our products, all of our databases. So you name it, I trained it. I've been with the company for going on 9 years, and I have to say, Ro, it has been such an amazing experience, especially being an international traveler and trainer for the company. I get to experience so many things, and I'm just very fortunate and I'm very blessed to have this opportunity. Not many people get to travel for their job, and I'm one of those who are blessed to have been to Winnipeg, Canada, to Tampa, Florida, to Miami, to India, to El Paso. So just quite a few places I've been able to go and train. So it's been so much fun.
And we're going to talk about that because I am obsessed with the fact that you get to travel for work. So we'll definitely get into that. Like I always do, I like to share with individuals and tell individuals why certain special people are part of my empowerment circle. Being a woman, 50 and fabulous, obviously we go through stages in our life, and I am at a point in my life where I protect my family. Well, I've always protected my family, but I protect my time, my space.
Yes.
My energy, all those things are so valuable. And those are things that we control. So I always say that we control who we let in or do not want to let into our empowerment circle. With that, why are you a part of my empowerment circle? I'm going to tell the audience why. Dominique mentioned earlier that both of us work at Kraft Heinz Company, and I recently became part of a mentor program at Kraft. And I've been at Kraft, for a while, 15 years, and I'm up there, your girl's doing her thing. And then with this mentor program, this go round, I was blessed to be a mentee. So I get to learn from someone that's like, woo, up there. Because you know me, I want to be next to the CEO.
Oh, yes.
So, I met my mentor and, we expressed my thoughts and what I want to do. And she said, okay, I'm going to introduce you to this person, this person, this person, this person. And I knew that her connections were levels above mine. So I was excited. So, and Dominique was one of those individuals. And I got that email from Dominique. She's like, hi, nice to meet you. I've seen you in some of our meetings. I've been meaning to reach out. So on and so on. And I still didn't know. I didn't know who she was, what she was. I was just excited to meet someone that was a couple of levels within the organization above myself. And then when we connected, like on our team site, I was like, oh, she looks like me. I was like, what? I said, and then I got closer. I was like, she's a sister. She looks like me. And I was obsessed. And to see someone that looked like me holding a senior level executive position, that just fueled me. Number one, I was excited. I was like, go ahead on, sister. And then second, I realized, like, why not me? It's possible. Because and when I first joined, no one looked like me. And it's no secret. We all know this is a male dominated, industry, especially when you get to certain levels, but things are changing. But I was so excited that you looked like me. And then when we talked, I think you set up like a 30-minute call.
That wasn't, first of all, bro, that was like damn near an hour and a half, 2 hour long conversation.
Exactly. And it was, so that moment, seeing you, someone that looked like me, and then seeing where you are, with inside the company, that empowered me to look at myself and say, Ro, could you be doing more? You can be up there. And so that is something that was extremely empowering to me. And then just your spirit, your drive. And then we know, working in the Fortune 500 companies, you have to be smart. You have to be intelligent. You have to be a go-getter. You have to be a fighter. You have to have a voice. You have to speak up. You got to be bad. And I was like, okay, so she's bad like me. This is going to work out. You're so cute. So thank you for empowering me, just with who you are as a person, and then just seeing you in the level and the company that you are. So I want to talk about, we got people chiming in.
I know, everybody's in there.
I know, you guys, welcome. I hope you guys take away a lot of good tea, and I know you will. So let's talk about empowerment.
Yes.
And how important that is. And focusing on us as women, a lot of women, obviously, we're mothers, and as a mother, you're empowered. You run the house. As a wife, you're empowered. You run the house, okay? But it's like we have those innate traits of power and just vigor inside of us. But the question is, do we carry that into the workplace? Do we have that same confidence at work? And why or why not? So my question to you is, how important is, feeling empowered and being empowered and having an empowerment circle at work?
So things here. The first row is that when we talk about things like empowerment, I think we also have to think about what drives us. So most of us have been in our positions for a very long time. Like I told you, I'm going on 9 years. And you've been with the company for 15 years, and I can see the chat is blowing up. We've got a lot of folks from Kraft Heinz and even outside of Kraft Heinz who have probably been at their jobs for a long time. And at some point, they just lose the passion. You go to work, you do the same thing day in and day out, and there is no challenge. And so we forget what makes us happy, and we lose that spark. And it's just like, we're just doing the same thing, right? It's just like zombies. And so after a while, I said, you know what? What is it that I like most about my job? And I had that in the forefront. And I said, okay, I love to train. I love to create presentations. I love to facilitate. And so what I did is I started focusing all my effort and energy into what I was really good at. And then I started to evolve from there, Ro. And so what I realized is that I had this power to define my role. I had this autonomy, and they said, Dominique, you can run with it. And they shouldn't have told me that, because you don't give me a little Scooby snack because I'm gonna take the meal. So what I did was I started to make this role my own. And so prior to that, and what I mean by the whole empowerment thing is that as a trainer, yes, it can be me facilitating. I can get up, I can talk about a topic all day. It could be me putting together a presentation. Anybody can do a presentation, right? But it became more than that. I actually taught myself, Ro, how to create training videos. I learned how to do it in PowerPoint. I kind of finagled my way into IT and had them to put me on their licensing agreement for a tool called Camtasia. And I started producing my own training videos. Girl, I was on my cell phone, recording my scripts, sending it to myself, editing the video, putting screenshots in of myself, recording my screen, and compiling it into training videos. So I made that role my own. And I was really empowered to make this position more than what it was before. So when people think about training, they're just like, oh, okay, I'm just going to throw together some stuff. No, it's more than that. It's engaging your audience. It's making sure that they feel like they're learning, that they're connecting with you, that you value them, that you see them, that you believe in them. And you're also giving them the tools to be successful in their own right. So I started creating that role, and I started making my mark within consumer relations. So I might not be, in the C-suite. I might not be in this senior management role, but I'll be damned one thing though, Ro. They knew exactly who I was, and they knew exactly who I was, and they knew exactly what I was capable of, and they saw how I completely revamped that area.
I mean, I love it. And a couple of things I took away. Number one is that you obtained this position, and you didn't just follow the book that was handed down from the previous person that had it. You realized that I need to stand out, and then also you wanted to adapt something and create it to be your own. So that's huge. So you got up and you went to work.
I went to work, and I found that passion in work. And I think that most people focus on their weaknesses. Oh, I'm not good at Excel. Oh, I'm not good at Adobe. Oh, I'm not good at this. But we're so worried about the wrong things when we should really be focusing on what we love to do and really bring our best selves and work to revamp our roles. And not only that, when you do that, and when you make a mark, and when you innovate, that's when they start to see your value. So we have to play to our strengths, and we have to be innovative in our own right in order to be seen. Now, in that, to answer your second question, when you talk about the empowerment circle and who empowers me at work, number one, you most certainly do. And I'm not just saying that because I'm on your show. I'm sure people are going to post in the chat. She's just saying that just to get brownie points. But, you are most certainly a part of my empowerment circle because, when we think about the people and the roles that they play in our lives, everybody plays a different role, right? So, Ro, I'm not going to go to you for every single thing, but I know if I need advice, if I know that if I'm struggling with a particular piece, I can always come to you and say, Ro, what do you think about this? Or if I feel like I was unfairly treated, I can come to you and I can say, Ro, this is what happened. What do you think? And get your perspective. Or I have another buddy, Shanine, who's also posted in the chat. Shanine has been through, there with me throughout, parts of my career journey. And so she is there to guide me and tell me, Dominique, lift your head up. Don't let that get to you. There's something better out there. Or I have, somebody like Jace. Even though Jace is new with the company, he's been there for 3 months. Me and this man, we chat all the time. If he has a presentation, he's like, Dominique, would you mind taking a look at this? And I'm like, absolutely. And that's because I know he will do the same for me. So I have the people who I can go to for inspiration. I have the people who I can ask work advice for. I have the people who can give it to me real, and I have the people externally who can also guide me as well. So I'll tell you one thing, I am always networking and I'm always building up my personal board of directors. And I think that we all do that.
Board of directors.
Absolutely.
At work. So, okay, I know you do that now, but I'm curious. So what was the turning point? Because I'm thinking about myself. When I first started within the organization, I was excited. I was vibrant. But I was intimidated. So I probably sat back, maybe for about 5 years. And then there was a moment when I just found my voice. And now I'm unstoppable. So can you give advice to, the importance of realizing your voice and expressing it? But I found the kicker is how we express it and how to overcome being maybe intimidated.
Ro, I think I might have lost you.
Oh, and geez, no idea what happened, but hey, I'm back. So just express, was there a turning point when you found your voice and you just came alive?
Absolutely. So sometimes it takes us a little bit longer to find our voice, and that's absolutely okay. And when you find your voice, and I think by finding voice, that means finding who you are and really working to ensure that everybody knows who you are. So your personal branding. And yes, board of directors, we lead program. I will most certainly call that as well. So I saw that in the chat. But I would say about 2 years ago, being a corporate trainer, I thought to myself, I'm working so hard with these call centers and our customer satisfaction scores have significantly increased, putting us, best in class for customer service. Why am I not bringing this to Kraft Heinz, my internal stakeholders? So yes, I'm doing this for the vendor, but I can be doing this on such a larger impact to the company and helping them to meet their goals. And so I would say that's when I really fell in love with learning and development. I love to teach. I love to give people advice. Like my friends and family will tell you, I'm always there like, oh, I know how to do this, or oh, let me help you. It's just because I have such a passion for people and watching people grow and develop. Or I'm always like, hey, you need help with your resume, I got you. Or hey, don't worry, you got this job. Let me walk you through some interview tips. Like I'm always there to help. And so when you have such a passion and when you have something that you are so strong, you believe so strongly in, that's when you need to act on it. So that's what happened 2 years ago. I'm like, you know what? I am going to act on this. But before
it was a desire that was just burning inside of you. And you said, I can't hold back anymore.
I couldn't. And not only that, but I had to be strategic about how I was going to use that voice. So those of you who are in the chat and who work for corporate America, you can attest that it is hard to move out of certain areas. One, when you've been there for a long time, and two, when people don't see the value in the area in which you work in. So consumer relations is really customer service based. And so they look at customer service as, just speaking to consumers all day or, what have you, but it's a lot more than that. And I had to show them that I had a lot more value to bring other than training our call center agents. And so before I started to, be this voice, I had to do it strategically, right?
Strategically.
You have to be strategic, right? Because I think everybody always has bold ideas and you want to just blurt it out, but you have to have a plan and you have to have action behind that plan in order for you to be heard. So the first thing that I did was I went back to school. I got my master's degree, just got my email that my diploma's on the way. So
Congratulations, Queen.
Hey, So went back to school, got my master's degree. Prior to that, I got an instructional design master track certificate. I joined the Women's Business Resource Group. So I co-lead learning and development for there. And let me say, if there's any one tip that I can give to you all about amplifying your voice, is to get involved. So by me joining that business resource group and co-leading learning and development and having such a wide audience of over 800 employees, they were able to see that learning and development is my passion. I'm sure that some of you have participated in my learning and development events, and you can see how I facilitate those. And not only that, what I didn't realize is that moving forward, I actually applied for another position in the company, which is manager of inclusive leadership. And I got that role and I'll be started in a week. But what I did not realize is who my audience was. The person that interviewed me was the lead HRBP, and she actually attended some of those L&D events. And so when I spoke to her, she said, you know what, Dominique, I couldn't wait to talk to you all day. I'm so excited. I want to tell you how much I love your events. And I was like, oh, for real, you love my events, huh? Let me play to this. And so when you think about your voice, you have to be strategic in how you use that voice. So if you want change, you have to be strategic behind that change. You can't just say,
make it happen.
You have to make it happen. You can't just say, I want you to do this. You have to have a plan in order to get people to go where you want them to go or where you want to be.
Something, and I love it. And I want to lead you into something that you had told me about earlier this week. And I even got my pen and paper. I was like, this is good. But you talked about being out there, being in front of them, using your voice and not waiting for them to invite you in. Or what is that you told me? You said, don't wait for a sit at the table, bring your folding chair.
Bring that folding chair, girl. We're done trying to ask for that seat at the table. We're bringing our folding chairs. So one thing about me, bro, is that I love the TED Talk series. So I'm always watching TED Talks. And I remember this one lady that was talking about, women of color and corporate America and how it's so hard to break that glass ceiling. And she's like, I'm done trying to ask for my seat at the table. I'm bringing my folding chair. And I was like, yeah, I'll keep one in my car.
I'll keep it in my car. I love it. And so my question was, you talked about like branding yourself. And I believe you had an acronym called PIE.
Yes.
Because that's key. So how do individuals brand themselves at work to separate themselves from the masses, from their crowd?
So that's a good question. So I believe Shanine actually threw it in the chat. So Shanine and I are actually a part of, we're a part of this Minority Accelerator program at work called We Lead. And in We Lead, they pretty much give you all the skills that you need in order to, for career development and to help you move up that corporate ladder. Mm-hmm. And so during one of our sessions, I believe it was called Navigate Your Future. It was with a career coach called Nyla Wagner. Mm-hmm. And what she talked about is this acronym called PIE. And she talked about, as you're growing within your career, performance, which is the P, is only 10% of, who you are in you being able to move up. And
I'm writing this in the chat. So performance, okay, because
performance is the P, and that's only 10%, right? Mm-hmm. So for those of you who are going like above and beyond, that's great. Continue to do that. Continue to ask for more work. That's how you build up your skills. So again, if you are, just doing that whole zombie thing when you're going to work, you have to find your passion and volunteer for those opportunities where you can use that passion, or where you can really utilize your skills or learn something more that you're interested in. So that performance is 10%. And so the next is I, which is image, and that is 30%. So that's pretty much me. You get what you see. I'm goofy. I say stupid stuff all the time, but people know that that's me. But at the end of the day, at the end of the workday, it's still business and I will get the job done. So they know exactly who I am. But now you have this 60%, which is exposure. And that is 60% exposure, which is who you know and your connections. And so, prior to that We Lead session, I think I was already operating in that exposure category, because if you all think about it, the way people get promoted in work is by who they know. Yes, you can show them what you have, but it's really, you need somebody to pull you in. You need somebody to sponsor you. You need somebody to be like, yeah, Dominique, she, I attended her L&D events. I know she has the capability to do well in this position. So you need people to advocate for you. But not only that, and I really want to hone in on this E, which is the exposure.
Please do, because I think about that, because we go to work and we have our immediate team, which may be, 5 to 10 people. But you guys are all on the same, playing ground. But if you want to progress and continue, you want to thrive, you need to have exposure outside of that circle. So please continue. Thank you so much, Dee, for sharing this.
Oh, yeah. So when I think about exposure, let me tell you what I did here. So I'm always thinking strategically. And the crazy thing is that I had applied for a couple of other roles in the company. And so they were lateral moves, but I knew deep down in my heart that I could, I was meant for a management position, because I've been operating in that capacity for so long. I knew I deserved it. But again, I needed to know the right players. So what I did is I started shadowing Dana Hennessy in learning and development. I was like, hey, Dana, I'm really interested. I want to learn more. So I reached out to her. She brought me into some projects, and it actually worked out very well because I was a second pair of eyes for her. Not only did I shadow, what I did was I kept in contact with those managers who told me no, who didn't want me to be a part of their team. But I knew they also knew that something was better for me. For example, when I had applied for this first role and I didn't get it, I was like, that's okay. I'm going to apply for this learning and development role underneath that particular manager, so I could still have that exposure with her and show her my worth. So you can't let those obstacles get in your way. You just got to hop over it and keep it moving. So I kept in contact with her, and she's actually one of my biggest advocates. She's one of my biggest advocates. So even though I don't work for her, she still advocates for me.
Yeah.
The other one, I still stay in contact with her. And she's like, if you ever want me to mentor you, if you ever need anything, if you ever need advice, I'm always here. Or what I'll do is I'll come across an interesting article and I'll be like, hey, thought you might be interested. And it's in our respective fields. So she knows that I still have her top of mind. And I'll even do that up to the top. I will email our chief learning and diversity officer and tell her, hey, I found this article. So
I will go to the top.
Right. And it's just to say, hey.
Did you guys hear that? Did you guys hear that? Go to the top. We say the cliche, they're people just like me. They put on their pants one leg at a time. We say those words, but we have to act on those words. The worst thing that can happen is they say, hey, congratulations, you got promoted. Here's an extra 20 grand. you know? So it's like you have nothing to lose. So, oh my God. Okay, keep talking, Dee. I'm just getting so motivated. And I'm getting chills because I think this is so important and our people need to hear that because some individuals are scared to speak up and speak out. I even had a conversation with one young lady I was mentoring, and she said, there are things that I want to say, and I'm getting chills just thinking about it now. She said, but I don't want to come across as the quote unquote angry Black woman.
Oh, yeah.
And so by her already having that thought in her head, she's suppressing her ability and her opportunities to rise and excel within the organization. So what do you have to say about that when someone's like, I want to speak up, but how are they going to look at me? I don't want them to think I'm angry.
Sometimes you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Do you get what I'm saying? And they are human too, and they don't know what you don't tell them. But again, you have to be strategic about that. You have to be strategic about that. For example, if there is an initiative, right? If there's an initiative going on. So let's say, for example, I'll give you a great example. So I am on the Women's Business Resource Group. And for those of you who don't work at the Kraft Heinz company, we have Business Resource Group, which are pretty much like affinity groups dedicated to amplifying the voices of underrepresented groups at the company. So we have like a Latinx, we have an Asian Pacific, we have veterans, we have the Black BRG, we have women's, and then we have Pride. Okay, so underrepresented groups. Now, for the women's BRG, of course, it's Black History Month, so it's our month. And what I know is that I am the only Black woman on that leadership team. So it is what it is. And I know people are always uncomfortable with talking about race. So I grew up in a predominantly white area, and my friends know I don't care what they think. I'm going to talk about race because it is who I am. I can't change the color of my skin, but hopefully I can change people's attitudes, right? And so what I started to do, like for Black History Month, in no fault of their own, is that sometimes they want to, lean on the Black BRG for insights, right? And what people have to understand is that Black history is our history. It's not just Black people's history, it's American history, right? It's our history, it's African history, right? And so what I had to tell them was, don't rely on them. Black pioneers, people who have paved the way for us. And so it means that much more when you write about Black history from your perspective. And so it's not all about like attack. You have to reverse people's thought process and get them to see the effects of their actions, because sometimes they truly don't know. And you don't always have to say it in an angry way. Nick Tartleton, I'm not sure if he's on the line here, but we are actually a part of this series at Loyola. So I'm always involved. So we talk about that.
I'm like, you're in another series?
I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere. So that's another thing, is get involved, right? Get involved. And so as part of this series with Loyola, it's advancing diversity, equity, inclusion in the workplace. What they talked about is call in with love and not out with anger. And so when you're bringing somebody in, you want to call it in with love because you have the best of intentions and you want to assume that they have the best of intentions too. So we can't keep attacking people for not understanding our plight. We can't attack them, but we can put the onus on them to learn about it.
Yeah.
And we can say that with love.
And I like that when you bring, your authentic self to work, you are definitely empowered. And that's how you thrive. You're not living. One of the chapters in the book, my book, I'm so excited, is entitled, being that imposter syndrome. And just from our conversation tonight, I realized that you're not living an imposter syndrome. in this jungle of corporate America. And by you being able to be your authentic self and come to work, that's how you're thriving. And by you being that trailblazer, you're helping others, embrace, who they are and thrive. And also too, Dee, I mean, a couple of things that stood out. I mean, you're out there, you're in their face. And that's what I love. I love that you are resilient. And these are words I just want our audience to take away from. It's like, don't be scared, be brave, be resilient, and just boom, go out there and make it happen. I do have a couple of fun questions because I'm obsessed with it. I see it in the chat here. But but when you told me that you were international trainer, I was like, international. So so first thing, and I'm just curious because I'm thinking about myself, and I know there's others out there who probably are thinking the same thing. So when you see a job opening, and I'm a little Black girl from Compton, and I only know English and probably Spanglish, So when I'm looking at a job, opening, and I see international trainer, I'm gonna overlook it, and I shouldn't. So do you speak different languages? Like, what made you decide to apply for international job? That's power, sister.
So here's the thing. And I hope everybody's listening to this, is that for the exact reason that you said is the exact reason why people need to travel, right? Because there is a leadership capability that most of us forget, and that is cultural intelligence. And one thing about cultural intelligence is understanding those around you, how they live, how they behave, and their culture, their customs, their religion. So I mentioned to you that I traveled to India. And so if my family's on, they will tell you, they were like, girl, you going to India? You sure you want to go to India? Or is it safe to go to India? And I'm like, why not?
Why not?
Why not? They're going to pay for everything. They're putting me on business class. They're putting me in the Western. Yes, I'm going to go. And I will tell you one thing, I embraced everything about India. I embraced the food. I embraced the culture. They made me a traditional sari just by eyeballing a picture of me. I immersed myself in their culture. A funny story about India. And again, my family will tell you this as well. So India, they don't have traffic laws. There are no stoplights. There are no stoplights, bro. So everybody is like a language of beeps. It's like beep, beep, go, beep, stop. I don't even know. And so it's like cars and people interweaving. At one point, no lie, I am like holding on for dear life, like, Jesus, please watch out for me. And out of nowhere, girl, why did a camel come walking in the traffic? A camel. So I was like, I am not in Kansas anymore. But here's the thing about that cultural intelligence. English is actually recognized as one of India's languages. So we have to stop thinking, thinking one way and really broaden our minds, because, the other language is, Hindi. But that's the thing, is because we always think one way because we really don't know. And how are you going to broaden your horizons, your skill set, your cultural intelligence, if you don't step outside of your comfort zone and learn about new people? And that even goes with networking, right? So if there's we all have different cultures. I from Illinois, Ro, you're in California. We have different cultures. Right. Cali is different than Illinois. Exactly. And so we are not going to broaden our horizons if we stay within our comfort zones. And that's what makes people sometimes so pessimistic, because they just don't take the time to learn. They think they know everything, but they don't. Step outside of your comfort zone and learn about somebody. Eat a different dish. Network with somebody that you typically wouldn't network. And you might learn a thing or two as well.
I love it, Dom, because we live in a bubble. And it's unconscious, but once again, it's like having individuals like yourself, and having an empowerment circle where you have these conversations and people teach you and they talk to you and they fuel you with these thoughts, and these ideas. And that's another reason why I'm so blessed that I met you, because I'm like, I want to travel. I want to learn more. I want to, go to India. But gosh, thank you so much. We got to wrap up, but I just want to ask you, is there like 2 just golden nuggets or tips that you haven't already shared that you would like to share, with our audience about just thriving and having a voice and surviving?
Oh my God, yes. The first is don't give up. The first is don't give up. And the reason that I say that is because, just a few minutes ago, I told you all that I had applied for 2 other roles and I did not get those roles. And it's not because I am not skilled. It's not because I didn't have what they were looking for. It just wasn't my time. And so if rejection comes, that should just be your point to push harder and to continue to push forward. Learn more about the area in which you're passionate about. I'll tell you what, I am a member of the Network of Executive Women, Association of Talent Development. Nick will always forward me some other series that I'm like, okay, I'm in. I'm always listening to webcasts, webinars. I'm always honing my craft so that I can be that skilled expert that people are coming to. So it is an investment. And you can't let defeat get in your way. You have to continue to push forward. It is a dog-eat-dog world, and corporate America is not fun. And the way that and I shouldn't say it not fun, but it's not all fun and games like we think it is. It is truly a competition, and the best of the best is going to win. So you have to be the best. So take the time, just like athletes, they have to practice their skills. We do too.
We do too. I'm taking a deep breath. Queen, you gave us so much beautiful information. I am blessed. I'm so glad that our circles connected. Yeah. And one other thing too, I would say, because we connected through a mentorship, at our job. So individuals, like you said, get involved in different things. If there is a mentorship program, get involved in it. If it's not a mentorship program at your workplace, start one, because you guys see the power of connectivity.
Absolutely.
All right, my love. I'm going to go for now. Okay. But we will definitely talk soon. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing a piece of you, with us this evening.
Thank you so much for having me, Ro. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye, everybody who joined.
All right, folks. Wow. We could have talked forever. First and foremost, thank you again for tuning in. I hope that you got so much value and some great information from what Dominique shared with us. Remember that pie. Remember that exposure. Think about that. Do you have a board of executives that are in your corner? Do you have individuals that when they have those big meetings, someone is speaking for you and they're saying your name? Another takeaway that I want us to think about is just the fact of being courageous and getting to work. You think about what Dominique kept saying continuously. I'm in this organization. I'm in this organization. I started this program. I created this project. You have to get up and go to work. You guys know this. We can't sit back and wait for things to happen. We have to make them happen. So be that courageous, that bold, that basically that leader. We got to be bad. We got to speak up and we have to speak out. Very important. You guys know that I enjoy sharing bits of my life and people that empower me with you. I hope that it does bring value and it uplifts you. And I promise that I will continue to bring you more inspiration and guidance in my Empowerment Circle show. So thank you again for watching. And for those of you who have gotten my book, thank you so much. I've gotten so many great reviews. Individuals are buying, I have bought them, I'm sorry, for Christmas presents. And believe me, I'm so appreciative. It is my passion project. And it is a toolkit, a roadmap for women in leadership. And just for women that want to be inspired and they want to hear other stories and they want to be uplifted. You guys have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I will see you all next Thursday. Bye.